Welcome everyone, this is Chubbs here with a review, part one of a multi-part review of the new Hobby King BSR Racing BZ-222 buggy. So this is the unboxing portion of the review, and boom, unboxed. Nobody likes unboxing videos anyways. So what do you get in the box? First of all, you get the buggy, obviously. You get the Lexan wing. I'm happy to report that this appears to be genuine Lexan, which is great. You get the servo saver and some parts for mounting the servo. You also get a 32 pitch pinion, which is fantastic. They included that because according to the pictures, I was expecting a 48 pitch pinion. And I do not have a single 32 pitch pinion, so I'm glad they included that one. You also get an instruction manual, which is basically just a series of exploded parts diagrams and some parts for converting to mid-motor. This buggy can be run in either mid-motor or rear motor. Finally, you get some decals. And I am very happy to report that there is not a single Hobby King decal on here, nor is there a Basher decal on here. So I appreciate that, Hobby King. Hobby King does not have a big presence in racing. And if you show up to the track with a Hobby King buggy, I'm sure you're going to have to answer some questions. So I think it's great that they've branded this as BSR and left their name off of it. So the first indication to me that they wanted to make a legit racing buggy, besides the fact that they said that, is the dimensions. This thing matches almost exactly the maximum dimensions for a Roar legal buggy. Wheelbase from axle to axle, I measured at 292 millimeters, which is exactly what the Roar limits are. It can't be any longer than that. I also measured the widest portion of the buggy, which happens to be the two front wheels, at 250 millimeters, which is exactly what the Roar dimensions say. So that's great. It seems that Hobby King did their homework on this one. One of the first things I noticed when I picked it up, besides looking at it, I think it's an attractive buggy, is how slot-free it is. This is easily the most, the tightest, most slop-free Hobby King product that I've ever had. The front wheels, the front bearings, I can detect almost zero slop in there. There's a little bit in the rear, they wiggle some, but that's expected. All of my buggies do that. So I'm really impressed with this, especially considering the Hobby King Trooper, which I also have, which has at least a 1/4 inch of play in pretty much all the wheels, and especially in the front steering mechanism. This steering mechanism is actually quite tight. There's a small amount of play there, but overall I'm really impressed with this. The buggy is I believe they said it was a 2 millimeter plate. I could be wrong on that. But it's a metal plate with these plastic wings to help mount your electronics. Everything else is plastic. I'm pretty impressed with the design of it. It is very, very torsionally stiff. This is easily the stiffest buggy that I have. Bending it this way, it's got a little bit of flex, not much. It's a very stiff buggy. Some of the plastics notwithstanding, I'm pretty happy with the stiffness that metal chassis provides. So the body is PVC. It's cheap. I don't care because buggy bodies just don't take hardly any abuse. The wheels and the wing takes all the abuse. And I am happy to report that the wing, as I mentioned earlier, appears to be real deal Lexan polycarbonate plastic. So I'm hoping that holds up well. It can be run in either mid or rear motor. And I am also really glad that it appears that they gave you plenty of room. This is a standard length LiPo battery. And all the way at the front, you've got all this room back here to run mid-motor. So I have not confirmed it yet, but it appears that you can run a standard case LiPo battery in mid-motor. No need for shorty or saddle packs. One thing that I don't like, they gave you a ton of adjustment here. You can put as big of a battery as you want in it, except for this rear compartment that the battery is supposed to slide under. See how I just clicked in there? This is a 4,000 milliamp hour battery, and it is the biggest battery that I can fit in there. I've got a 5,000 milliamp hour that you really have to force in, and frankly, it just doesn't fit. So they gave you a ton of adjustment on this battery hold down, and then they gave you no adjustment on this rear compartment. So I'm not too pleased with that, but you know what, 4,000 milliamp hour, it's all I need anyways, so I can live with that. Wheels and tires. I am happy to report, again, that the tire compound is actually very soft. And I say very soft, that's compared to most other ready-to-run car tires that I'm used to. They feel very usable, even in a race environment. For reference, these are some clay tires, suburbs in the rear, scrubs in the front, Proline, MC compound. The Hobby King tires actually feel softer than these, and admittedly the clay tires are known to be a little bit harder anyways. The Hobby King tires do feel a little bit harder than soft compound Proline tires. I suspect they're close to a medium. Either way, I'm very pleased with that. The tires appear to be usable. We'll see how they perform. The suspension to me feels a little bit underdamped. Not bad. I think it's usable, and I'm going to run it that way. I suspect I will probably go to a thicker oil weight eventually, but it seems to be very serviceable as is. So let's get to some of the things that I don't like about it. I think they've got a solid base here, and I like a lot of things that they've done, especially the price. I'm really impressed with what you get for the price. All metal shocks. They feel pretty smooth. I'm really impressed with it. But there are a couple negatives. First of all, this wing plastic, the wing support plastic, feels to be the same plastic as everywhere else, which is expected, I guess. But on most of my other kits, they use a very soft plastic for this, so that it bends and flexes. If you notice here, that is not the support. That's not the wing support that's flexing. That is the shock tower. So the shock tower seems to be one of the flimsiest parts on this, and I actually think that's probably good for durability because they won't snap off. They're very flexible, but I wish that they would have made these supports flexible and not the shock towers. The rest of the plastic seems pretty flexible, which again is great for durability. My Trooper is almost invincible because it's basically made out of rubber. This one seems to be almost the same way. Not so great for performance, but it is good for durability, so we'll see how well it does. The hinge pin braces are plastic. I've already heard of one guy on another forum that has broken the rear ones. They sell titanium upgrade parts, but they're like $12 or something, which isn't bad. But considering the stock plastic parts are about $1.50 or $2 or something, I mean, you can do the math on that, and you can sure buy a lot of cheap parts and just have them laying around for the cost of one upgrade part. So we'll see if it becomes a problem or not. The final and most important flaw that I see, these front wheel axles. If you notice, the rear is a 7mm nut, just like every other axle nut in the world, I think. The front is a 5.5mm nut. So that's a little weird, I thought. Let's take it off and see how they did that. How do you fit a standard wheel onto a tiny little bolt like that? And the answer I'm not too pleased with. I don't know if you can see that, but the 12mm hex here, it's got a little sleeve on it, a shoulder. So basically they're taking this skinny little nut, or the skinny little bolt, and they're putting a shouldered hex adapter on it, and that's what gives it the diameter to support that wheel. I'm not too pleased with that. I worry that that's going to break. We'll see if it becomes a problem. I hope not, but I'm not real optimistic. Most of my other buggies have axles that are at least double that thickness, so I'm not sure how that's going to hold up, but we'll see. So, bottom line, what has Hobby King built here? I think they've done a really nice job of building a sub $100 buggy that appears to have all the ingredients necessary to be competitive. There's a couple problems with it that I've already mentioned. The front axles I'm not pleased with. Oh, and I also kind of skipped over the pinion. I don't understand why they put a 32 pitch pinion on there. It doesn't seem necessary. None of my other buggies have that. But I believe it's easily convertible to an associated 48 pitch pinion. or a 48 pitch spur. I've already got one here that I fit on there, and it fits just fine. You just need the friction discs with it. So anyways, I think we've got a good platform to build on here. I think it can be competitive. And if so, then that would be great for the hobby as a whole, I think. Not everybody has $250 to spend on a roller kit to be competitive in racing. If somebody can do it for $100, like what Hobby King's done here, I think that's great for everybody. So thanks for watching, everyone, and please stay tuned for follow-up reviews on this. Thanks.